Hello and welcome to Kids Corner. It's Shirley and Sir Winston, and we have another friend here that we're going to introduce you to in just a second. When I came down for breakfast this morning, Sir Winston looked at me and he kind of snickered. And he pointed at my hair and said, "You're having a bad hair day." And my hair, well, it was looking a little worse than what it is now because I was able to pat some of it down, but you can see that there's some on the sides that's sticking straight out. And I said to Sir Winston, "Yes, but I can stick my head underneath the tap and I'll wet it down after this and dry it so that it's straight. So my bad hair day will really only be temporary." And then Sir Winston said, "Well, did you know about Anne's bad hair day? It was a lot more than temporary." And so we went and found our friend Anne, and we asked a few questions. And this is Anne. Anne Shirley, to be exact, also known as Anne of Green Gables. And she's famous. Why? There's a book that I have called Anne of Green Gables. And there's more books about Anne. So she said it was okay to tell you a story about her bad hair day. I don't know if you've noticed, but Anne has red hair. And she doesn't really like the fact that she has red hair. She's always harbored a secret desire to wear pink, but she was told that people with red hair shouldn't wear pink. And in fact, she said one time somebody told her God gave her red hair, and she was a little mad about God about that. But that's not what this story is about. Anne lived with Matthew and Marilla, and Marilla came home one day from a meeting and was surprised to find that Anne hadn't started supper. In fact, she couldn't find Anne anywhere around, so she had to start supper because Matthew was coming in from the barn and he was very hungry. And she served Matthew supper, did the dishes, looked around, still no Anne. She had expected that maybe she was playing and lost track of time. And then she went upstairs to put something in Anne's room and noticed there was somebody in Anne's bed. And it was Anne. And she said, "Anne, are you ill?" And she said, "No, but..." And Marilla said, "Well, get out of the bed." And when Anne slid out of the bed, and she said to Marilla, "Just look at my hair." Well, Anne's hair wasn't all red anymore. There were lots of streaks of green in Anne's hair. And Marilla said, "Whatever happened to your hair?" And Anne had to say, "I dyed it. I bought a dye that was to make my hair beautiful raven black. But look what it's turned out to be, splotchy green." And so Marilla and Anne tried to wash it out. In fact, Anne stayed home from school all week as they tried to get the dye out of the hair, but they couldn't. And at the end of it, they had to cut all of Anne's hair off. And Anne then realized that there was a lot worse things than having red hair. And we were talking about that, Anne and Sir Winston and I said, you know, it's a little like the Serenity Prayer, which is kind of a famous prayer. It says, "God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Now, serenity means like calm and peacefulness. So, why don't we have a little prayer together and pray the Serenity Prayer? And that maybe will help us to have the courage, the bravery to change some of the things that we can, and to accept some of the other things, like if you have red hair, that you really can change. So shall we bow our heads and have a prayer together? Dear God, give me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Amen. And we'll see you next time at Kids Corner.